Hey kids, it's Jurassic James and Jurassic Plains looking at the Mamenchisaurus again. I've already done one with these three figures here. This is the British Museum's, I believe, 1981. My first Mamenchisaurus, which was the 1993 Safari, and of course the PNSO one. So that's the first video I did about a year ago. So we already did part one. This part two is another unboxing, as well as, well, two unboxings. One, the smaller PNSO from Mamenchisaurus, and of course the Jurassic World Mamenchisaurus. So I'm super excited about that. Let's get started. So first and foremost, with the official Scissors Jurassic James, I will open a tiny little friend here. Oh. Easy. And so, okay, so there's the box right there, and we have a picture of it there. So again, this is the larger figure from PNSO, which again I've already reviewed in a lot. Really interesting animal from China, late Jurassic period, after 48 age, and some around and more, I believe. There's multiple species known. So there it is. And there is this, it's really tiny. Okay, so like all of our PNSO figures, there is a picture of the figure. Here's a lot, just more data on it. Yep, there's an introduction and everything right there. So you can kind of see that right there. And as usual, I will keep the box beside me. And so it's wrapped in this little plastic here. So there it is. There is our teeny tiny Mamenchisaurus. Now, I'm not sure if collectors, because like this one I think is like 60 or so bucks or more. This one maybe like 12 bucks. And so I'm imagining there are some collectors who just want a smaller scale. This will work really well for them. For other collectors, maybe consider it a baby for the adult. I don't know. Although we do know from baby dinosaur egg finds in South America that the babies would have often had shorter necks and sort of other features. But that's just a little detail there. So trying to see if it's it's the same. It's not the same mold quite yet, but but the material's a bit different. So here's a little guy here. This is now my smallest Mamenchisaurus, and it is flexible. There are no joints or anything. And again, PNSO is really great for making the really cool skin textures and designs, proportions. So really good on them. Very happy to get this little guy here. I'm going to get it real close to the camera so you can kind of get a good look at this little guy. It's like that big, and yeah, so really cool. But of course, I'm sure you guys aren't here for this. You're probably here for the big boy here. So here's the Jurassic World figure, and I will tell you that my experience with this animal, actually I'll open it first, then tell you that story. So here's the box. And I was always like a kid for scale. Like, here's how many kids big it is. But what if you have no kids in your life? How do I know how big it is? That could be a giant kid. Who knows? Let's see. So what's the easiest way to open this? On the back side, we have this image here, and it's just raw strength. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, you think they're like an easy pull tab like you do with bigger things, but no, you have to really rip it out of here. And there we go. So for this, same as all of them, they have the cardboard to pull like that. You reach in, and here's a part of the neck, I assume. Here is. Oh, it's more complicated than I thought. Yeah, the box is now empty. Congratulations. We want the level 2. Okay. I don't want to be that guy, but you kids don't understand how back in my day we didn't have sauropod toys this large. We had to get foam ones like this that fell apart after a few years sometimes. This is so cool. There's multiple parts to it. Very good, very good. I like it a lot. And this is our tail, So first thing to point out is that most of all the other Jurassic World sauropods, they're all like right there, get together, were the tail was one piece, the neck was one piece, and torso was one piece. This one has 2 neck pieces and 2 tail pieces. So the first thing to point out is you have your tail like that. There's a little tab on the top right there, and there's the same recess here and a tab on the top right there, and you just do that, and it clicks into place. It doesn't come apart. Now looking at the tail here, you're like, James, how do you know which part's the head of the tail? Because one, the Mamenchisaurus has shorter arms on average, but 2, the toes are facing that way. Just context clues, kids. And so you have this pluggy thing right here, right there, and you just do the thing where, so it's at an angle. So the rectangle part is at an angle. Look at that Mamenchisaurus bottom up there. And so it's good. And so there it is. It appears I did it backwards. And that's not an option. Awesome. Cool. Cool. So here we have the neck. Because, don't make my mistakes, there are stripes on top, and there's stripes right there. And it should have been the other way around, and I'll deal with it off camera afterwards. Hopefully it'll be a fixable thing. And so, just like before, you have your plug here, and there's the nearer slider and darker. That's called counter shading, with a darker top or a different color top and bottom of the animal. And you plug it in there, and then you take this and make sure it's the right, well, it's in neck, so you can't get it wrong. Let's see, the hexagon on these parts like that. So make sure you get your hexagon. There we go. So here is, unless it rotates. Does it rotate? No, I just really got it wrong. Okay, cool. Oh, it's on the side. That's how bad it is. All right, good job, James. So you really, oh, it did, okay, it rotated. Awesome. I was like, surely someone else would get it wrong who's not as smart as me. No. Okay, so here is our the Lost World Jurassic Park Mamenchisaurus figure. The neck, we go, okay, it's really tight when you first get out of the package. Oh, no, we're not going to do that. Like, fun. There's your DNA code, because kids need to see that, because they have to scan it for online. You get a toy, you scan it to play on your phone, I guess, when the toys aren't around. The neck can rotate here. The mouth can open. Now, one thing I did not mention with any of the other sauropod figures in this line is that their teeth are like usually wrong. So I'm going to put the mouth right next to the camera. You can see they essentially have like a row of teeth like us. For the most part, sauropods just, well, the Plodocus at least have the teeth just jutting out the front, or taller often for their leaf-shaped teeth. For the Brachiosaurus, Macronarians, but again, really cool. The head can move up and down, so it can like bop its head to music it likes, and then the neck rotates, pushing the limbs. Can it lay down? That legs only go about that far out. Now, let's see. And next should be able to go up to here. I'm gonna have to put some force on it because it's the first time I'm doing this, and I can't believe this is a kid's toy and it takes that much energy or help. Oh, actually, let's do this. I can imagine the head can go. Am I doing it wrong? Or am I doing? No. This is really hard to do. But I'm not going to break it because I'm a strong man and I don't want to break my toy. So that being said, so Mamenchisaurus, here it is again. Like the first video, part 1, finding China Lake Jurassic. Oh, I brought some of its the dinosaurs in the Jurassic World line that would have been contemporaries with this animal, meaning that this guy, Mamenchisaurus, would be an actual predator that would have hunted this guy. Now, again, I wouldn't say one-on-one because that would be, suicide on his part. But you get 2 or 3 of these guys together, you would have that work. Mine cannot stand very properly, or it's balanced. Well, that's why you need bigger tails. I've been complaining about that for decades. Somewhat online and just in general in life. And then these 3 stegosaurs, which are all Jurassic World. Giganotosaurus, oh my goodness, I forgot his name. It's Spinosaurus, but it's like Spino something. So it's something really weird and annoying. My brain just went blank, and I would edit it out, but no, stick to it. Oh, Gigantic Spinosaurus. That's what. Okay, it was in there somewhere. And then Chuntosaurus. And so these 3 stegosaurs and this guy live together in late Jurassic, North Asia. Now, that's your general overview there. I will again defer to you back to the original video of Mamenchisaurus, the first three guys. But I want to point out something very important to my childhood because I got this for Christmas and been waiting this long just to kind of look at it. And so, first of all, my experience with Mamenchisaurus, because it was in the late 90s, so back in the 1900s, children, before there was these, what do you call it, the TikTok and Twitter things, or whoever else, Snapchat, we just had movies and DVDs. DVDs were the newest technology. Bigger deal. Trust me, big thing. And so, but anyway, when I was a kid, I remember my first exposure of Mamenchisaurus was not a book or even a paper, because as a child, I did not read scientific papers, apparently. My first exposure was 1997. We were looking at Jurassic Park Lost World. There's a scene where the hunters are driving and they're hunting these dinosaurs to take the mainland in San Diego. And that's when I first saw Mamenchisaurus. And a big deal with this animal that stuck out to me the most was that it did not look like a diplodocid, like a Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Brontosaurus, that branch, or a Macronarian like Brachiosaurus, Camarasaurus, or the Titanosaurus. It looked different. And initially when Mamenchisaurus was discovered, before that 90s, they put it with one group and then another group, and I'm like, maybe it's its own group, which makes sense because there are several kinds of sauropods. I know to the average person they look a lot alike, but there are different types, basically, right? And you would expect one on the other side of the world to look kind of different than one we have in the North American area. But the point of the story here is that I'm going to cut the video for a second, the actual information, to give you, essentially, give myself and you to share with me a nostalgia moment. Because back in the 90s, this couldn't have happened. See, I have my original Jurassic Park 2 Parasaurolophus, my original Jurassic Park 2 Pachycephalosaurus. These toys from the last century, kids, meaning that most of the children watching this, these toys were made before you were born. And so there's a scene where they're in the open fields in Isla Sorna in part 2, and you have your, and now I do have the newer characters and this vehicle, this green over there, but here's Peter Ludlow, the guy who John Hammond's nephew took over, and Dieter Stark, the guy who was eaten by compies later on. They were in one of these vehicles. And they have Roland Timbo and his friend RJ to do. So Roland Timbo, the big hunter. RJ's here. Oh, camera's over there. Duh. And so they're driving after the dinosaurs. It's getting to a point. This is the reason I'm doing this. I'm just having a moment. I'm sorry. I couldn't open it. I waited for you kids and families and friends, whoever's watching this. And so, of course, there was the Humvee. And between Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 2, there was some hunter figures who had they were fictional characters. They were all fictional characters. They were characters made for just this purpose. And so the point is, in the movie, they're all driving to catch these dinosaurs. And then they made a figure of a guy named Carter. Carter in the movie was a guy who, when the T-Rex was chasing them before they left the island, he fell in the water and got stepped on. That was Carter. He was not on a motorcycle in the movie, but they put him on the motorcycle in the figure. And so the point I'm trying to make is, that I'm building up to, is that they were riding motorcycle, and it's gonna, and this one has a hook, a lasso on it because it's a toy, it's a gimmick. And so it rode through the legs of the Mamenchisaurus like that, and it's too tall, which is why the new Jurassic World figures are actually a smaller scale. That's saving money, saving time, and all that. But I'll just tuck his head down to finish my childhood like that. That's something I wanted to do since the 90s. This is it. This is it, kids. And that's why we're here. Now, I'm going to now continue the review and move my toys and stop being a child online. I don't know. Anyway, there will be videos that are more scientifically focused coming up. I just wanted to do that and talk about the figure itself, of course. But that was something that I've wanted to do since 1997. The sad part is, there were 2 Mamenchisauruses in the movie, and I only have one big one, and you know what that probably means for poor Mrs. Washington, my wife. The point is, it's like the Hamilton, it's poor wife. The point is, okay, so here's the animal. Now, what's really neat about this guy, and I'm going to compare it to the sauropods of this line, is that Mamenchisaurus, again, it looks very different. It's a different branch of animal. It is often credited to being one of the longest necks in the fossil record because it's just, like I said, Diplodocus is known for its longer tail, Brachiosaurus for its taller arms, sloping to the back. Mamenchisaurus has a huge long neck. And there are several species known, so in some ways, my friends here who are variations of Mamenchisaurus, or different models or companies, frankly, you're seeing essentially maybe different species depicted. And there are some that are larger than the others, right? The smallest are like 40 feet long. Anyway, this guy is really huge. I think it's really amazing. The thumb moves that way. That is so cool. I'm so happy about this. Now, my complaints about the animal, scientifically speaking, is that when you look at the feet of sauropods in general, they have crescent shape or moon shape, half moon shape, like footprints, because they don't have these bones down here. They have the metacarpal, carpal, all these bones up here, the ulnar radius. You usually have this part here, and they walk like this with a thumb spike. And so the toys here, you can kind of see the feet are more elephant-like. Now, they may have had a larger pad, but you're seeing 5 sharp, you're seeing 5 claws there, or hoof-like claws, which, if there was a claw, it would be hoof-like. For the feet, they usually have 3 to 4 of the feet, toe bones clawed. So maybe you have usually 3 toes clawed, and then like little nubs here. And the furthest one out was very small. This guy has 5 claws, and they've all done that. So I can't complain about just this model. They've all done that. But again, looking at this guy up close, it's really neat. Now, one thing I can complain about for sure, because I don't know if we have any of Mamenchisaurus' feet, are its head. I'm going to show you that. Now you'll see between the eyes, there's a nostril. Now, why does that matter to you and I? Because I was in the museum at Houston, and I walked in one day and saw Dr. Lawrence Whitmer, who studies soft tissue dinosaurs by doing scanning of modern animals and comparing them to skeletons. And he was talking about this particular thing, which he put in paper, of course, I knew that. But hearing it firsthand was like, yes. And so he was saying how, yes, the orbit, the eye hole is right here, and the nose hole, the nares, is right here. But in sauropods, even though the hole for the skull, nose hole is right here, doesn't mean the nostrils right there. So he was like, think about it. They would probably be at the tip of the nostrils, the opening for the nostrils, because I have a hole as a human right here, but there's skin covering it, and there's my 2 nostrils here. The nostrils should be the very tip, because when you're an animal, you're sniffing. It's how you're sensing the world around you. And so, why would it be above the eyes? And of course, the old idea for sauropods was that, they do that because they're going into water and they're hiding under water, kind of like alligators, and with their nostrils kind of sitting up. And the problem with that, of course, is if you have this long neck and it's full of air sacs and hollows, and you're in a deep water, it will increase pressure and it will not work very well, probably. So they're saying, well, no, his argument was like, no, the nostrils were probably right here, and there was skin covering it that way. Now, am I going to fault the toymaker for that? Because this is unlike this guy, who PNSO, who I believe... Oh my God! PNSO got it right. Not surprised. You can't see it because it's teeny tiny. I'm going to zoom in even more. Look at that. It's like when you're at the safari, the giraffes put their necks on your camp, on your van. And so the nostrils are at the tip enough on this Mamenchisaurus. That is very impressive. Once again, score for PNSO. I don't count it against the Jurassic World Heaven Collection because they are making not dinosaurs. They're making the Jurassic World animals newer and bigger and better. So I'm not mad at them, but it's something to remember when you're drawing this dinosaur that you put the nostrils in the end. Now, let's compare them to its relatives. So, when first discovered, Mamenchisaurus was thought to be a relative of the Apatosaurus, the Diplodocus, the Diplodocus, because in general these guys have, on average, shorter arms, longer legs, and they have horse-like heads. So they're very narrow. Now, of course, our guy, this is really wrong. The teeth are really wrong. They should be all in the front, like pencils jutting out the front to strip the leaves. There are no back teeth. There are no side teeth. That's something that they did. Even in the movie, you saw it was wrong there. Anyway, and the feet, because this is a diplodocus, and we have their feet, we know their feet, it should be like this. It should really be that. And this is going to be rounder, with like a nub, and with a spike sticking out. But we don't, it is bigger. The first claw is bigger, so I'll give them that. I've already reviewed this dinosaur, but I was just really excited opening it, so it's not, here's some signs, right? Nostrils in the wrong spot, but again, we saw the movie, and I think I put it out last time that the Oscar goes to Apatosaurus in Jurassic World because it died on camera, and it was such a good actor. And so here's the thing: this guy, these are not to scale. I think Apatosaurus is chunkier in real life than Mamenchisaurus, but again, this guy is they're different. It's like comparing an Asian elephant to an African elephant. They're the same thing but different branches, right? Our other guy here, also from the late Jurassic, is of course the Hammond Collection original Brachiosaurus. And so this guy here, as you know, Brachiosaurus is my favorite dinosaur of all time. I have a gross amount of them. My collection it's unhealthy. And so the heads of the fun noise. The heads of the original Brachiosaurus, there's no, other than a jaw opening and closing, there's no head articulation. So the head can rotate, the neck can kind of rotate, but there's no head movement. So they did improve on that with this guy. The difference here, of course, is this is a solid neck. This neck has a kind of a hinge, even though it's not probably on purpose. It's because they're making it where it can fit and be bigger. So I'm going to put that up. And our last sauropod, who actually has more in common with the Brachiosaurus. I've done this before already. I've talked about it. I should. I like the fact that this is a really annoying shot for you, but it's amazing for me to see just these bodies, these torsos. Is the Dreadnoughtus. Oh my goodness. If we could rename sauropods, the name sauropod means lizard foot because I don't know why. But I think because they have 5 toes, but their feet are nothing like a lizard's foot. They are more like elephant feet. Similar when you get bigger, evolutionarily speaking, of a species, you tend to kind of converge toward designs, right? Certain traits. And so there's your Dreadnoughtus. And so, in some ways, this is a good lineup of sauropod. I mean, for the most part, sauropod overview. The Dreadnoughtus is a titanosaur. It is a macronarian. So Brachiosaurus and Dreadnoughtus are closely related. Diplodocus is a different branch. And Mamenchisaurus, we don't quite know where it fits in. Some say closer to the Diplodocus, some say closer to the macronarian, and some say its own group. I don't know. I'm reading papers right now trying to get a big picture on this. And if there is a new figure and more data, I will go Mamenchisaurus Part 3. But until then, I wanted to share with you this really cool dinosaur that I literally have waited. Okay, what year is it right now? 2024. This came out in 1997. And so here's so for 27, wow, my goodness, we say it out loud. For 27 years, for 27 long years, I have waited for this dinosaur toy to come out, and I finally have it. I'm happy to share it with you, friends. Next week we're doing the Brachiosaurus, or later we're doing the Brachiosaurus from Amazon exclusive. There's a reason why I'm doing it. We'll see it then. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so happy. See you soon.